What if we told you that the age-old method of teaching might not be the most effective way to educate our future generation? Imagine a classroom where the teacher is the sole dispenser of knowledge, and students are passive vessels waiting to be filled. This is the traditional teacher-centered approach that many of us are familiar with. It's a system that has been in place for centuries, and it's shaped the way we think about education. But does it truly cater to the unique needs and potentials of each student? Are you curious about how we can transform education and make it more engaging for students? Let's dive into it. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful videos like this. In the traditional teacher-centered learning approach, the teacher is the main source of knowledge. This method sees the classroom as a stage where the teacher performs and students are spectators. The teacher is the authority figure, the one who knows all and shares this knowledge with students who are seen as passive recipients, soaking up information like sponges. In this model, learning is often structured around lectures, with the teacher talking and the students listening, taking notes, and memorizing information to later regurgitate during exams. The emphasis is on exams and grades, with success often measured by the ability to recall facts and figures accurately and promptly. In this system, the diversity of student backgrounds, learning styles, and interests are often overlooked, with a one-size-fits-all approach to education. This method can be effective for transmitting factual information, and it provides structure and consistency in the learning environment. However, it can also limit student engagement, creativity, and critical thinking, as it doesn't encourage students to question, explore, and discover. While this method has its advantages, it's not without its flaws. But what if we shift the focus from the teacher to the student? In the student-centered learning approach, the student becomes the active participant. Unlike the traditional model where the teacher is the primary driver of knowledge, student-centered learning flips the script. Here, students take the reins of their own education, stepping into the driver's seat and steering the direction of their learning journey. This innovative approach places a high value on skills and knowledge application, going beyond rote memorization. It's all about students engaging with the material, putting theories into practice, and learning by doing. It's not just about the what, but the how and the why. With student-centered learning, the classroom becomes a hub of collaborative work. Students engage in project-based tasks, working together to solve problems, create products, or generate knowledge. This active, hands-on involvement in learning encourages students to develop essential skills such as teamwork, problem-solving, and leadership. This approach fosters a love for learning and instills critical thinking skills in students. But how does it compare to the traditional method? Now that we know the basics of both methods, let's examine their key differences. In teacher-centered learning, the educator is the primary source of knowledge, the sage on the stage, imparting information to the students. The students, on the other hand, are seen as passive vessels, absorbing the knowledge given to them. The learning process is largely one way, with the teacher disseminating knowledge and the students receiving it. Evaluation methods in this approach often involve standardized testing, focusing on the recall of facts and figures. The skills developed are largely individualistic, emphasizing memorization and individual achievement. On the flip side, student-centered learning flips this model on its head. Instead of the teacher being the primary source of knowledge, they become the guide on the side, facilitating learning rather than dictating it. The students are active participants in their education, engaging with the material in a meaningful way. The learning process becomes interactive and collaborative, with students learning from each other as much as from the teacher. Assessments in student-centered learning are more diverse and holistic, focusing not just on recall but on understanding, application, and synthesis of knowledge. They may involve projects, presentations, or peer evaluations, among others. The skills developed through this method are more aligned with the demands of the 21st century, emphasizing critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and communication. As we can see, while both methods have their advantages, student-centered learning tends to be more engaging and beneficial for the student in the long run. So, what does all this mean for the future of education? The horizon of learning is shifting, increasingly leaning towards a student-centered approach. This innovative method starts with clear learning objectives, defining what students should achieve by the end of the course. It aligns assessments, activities, and content to support these goals, fostering a more engaged and proactive learning environment. This isn't just a trend, but a dynamic shift, one that benefits students, educators, and parents alike. Embracing this approach means cultivating connections, sparking curiosity, and inspiring a love for knowledge that endures beyond the classroom. Remember, the goal is not just to teach, but to inspire a lifelong love for learning.